Hey guys, Keats here. So I want to give a tip on how we exit our post leans as efficiently as possible. I see a lot of old and young goalies struggle with creating some level of momentum. And a lot of guys, a lot of goalies end up pushing off the post or relying just on this inside leg to take them to their final destination. So there are a few main issues that I encounter with a lot of my clients when exiting that post lean 2 feet. One, how we're actually sealing the post, and two, how we're trying to create momentum and driving out. So first thing is positioning on the post. We'd like to make sure that we are able to hit the inside of that post rather than the face of the post. If we end up rolling our boot to the face of the post, really our only direction is kind of out on this angle, but we would like to go through the middle of the crease and out, and this will give us the angle and the leverage to do so. Two, we need to make sure that when we hit the post, we don't have our butt sunken. Now, if there is a short side threat and we need to kind of bump into that post, it is what it is. So let's say we're going post to post as if there's a wraparound. We would like to make sure that we are here, all right, in this position with our hips, because if we get our hips too sunken, it is dead weight that we have to peel off before we hit a neutral state, before we hit a positive state. So we'd like to make sure we're on the inside of the post with the hips up, and the hips will be facing a little bit more slightly above the dot line, let's say to the right side. All right, we can't have our hips completely up ice. If that is the case, we are usually too flat on the goal line, covering less net for a net front threat, and also we have the hips sunken when we are too flat. So hips are facing a little bit more to the circle, all right? We're off the post with our shoulders, our hips are up, and again, we want to be able to create some level of momentum out. We want to be able to get this foot underneath us, all right? And we will eventually have a light pop off that post, okay? But a lot of kids I see when trying to create momentum out, that a lot of goalies end up torquing their body and reaching with their least dominant hand, their backhand. So we want to make sure that when we're coming out, obviously both hands are available right away. But what we want to be mindful of is we don't want to get into a tug of war battle with our upper body, because if this blocker hand, for example, comes in front, my left arm goes back, my left glute sinks, and because of that, my knees are not tracking over toes. So I'd like to make sure that both hands are kind of equally coming out and or are more or less aligned with my hip and shoulder angle. I don't want to get twisted. So there's a lot of working parts here, but I want to focus on one thing. Where is the weight on the lead foot? So try to focus on when you're creating some level of momentum off that post, you're bringing this lead foot underneath your body, underneath your frame, because we need to have knees over toes, more or less, to be able to have some level of momentum or glide out. Unfortunately, if the knee ends up behind the toe line, we do not have that momentum. The weight's more on the heels. We're kind of flat-footed. So try to focus on bringing this foot back. And as you can see, there's a nice balance and timing to all my movements. My head, my shoulders start to go out. I'm having this spine angle that creates that set stance that I want to arrive with. But most importantly, I get this foot to be underneath me, all right, so I can stop at any time and obviously feel nice and fast and efficient with my exits. Now, when it comes to the last detail of how we can stop as efficiently as possible, we'd like to make sure that that boot is stopping underneath our frame rather than pushing in front. Now, this is applicable for a T-push as well, but if we are pushing out, and let's say we have everything going for us, the hands, we're tracking over the foot, all right, but we stop and we push that foot out. Sometimes I tell kids, like, you're karate kicking out. Unfortunately, now that foot needs to now whip back for us to actually be in a set stance. So try to make sure that you just have your weight over top of that foot and you just try to get a very quick and tight rotation, because the tighter that rotation, the quicker your feet can square up. I hope this helps, guys. I hope this allows you to exit your post leans with a little bit more confidence. And I hope this creates a little bit more speed and ease in your game. Take care, guys.